and Mike bring you into their world. It's not just chickens and the Angus herd. So take off your boots, relax, and go beyond the ranch.
Hi guys, welcome back to our Wyoming Life. My name is Mike.
I'm Erin.
And this is Beyond the Ranch, our semi-monthly, whenever we get around to doing it, type of live stream that's been going on here for about 3 years now. We've been doing the Beyond the Ranch live stream. And I got to say, it's exhausting. I mean, actually, this whole week has been exhausting. The last couple weeks have been exhausting. But normally, this time of year, we would be doing our July 3rd party, which we're not doing this year. And is there a reason we're not?
Yeah, I'm exhausted.
Oh, yeah,
I'm sick.
I forgot that part.
I'm sick. I'm not feeling super great.
Yeah.
So.
It's been a rough couple days.
Yeah.
So haying is going on. Happy 4th of July to everybody out there. We do have a little change in our video schedule. So we have a video coming out on Tuesday because of the 4th of July holiday. I want to get that out there before I start getting emails on Monday and people, where's the video?
That. Not everybody's here.
What's that?
You're still going to get
that. Yeah, I'm still going to get that, no doubt. But I do appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with us this evening. Of course, our moderators here, Matt Fensel, William Dunn, Lori Habel, Zach Hewitt, and Bill the Tractor Man. Thank you guys for being here and keeping us in line. Brian Yonker, or Jonker, I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Yonker or... You can correct me. I should know by now. You think I would know. Tell us good news about the hay. So we've been rained out twice. Tonight we're actually winded out because we've got winds of 40 miles an hour. And if you know anything about putting up windrows or anything like that, the wind definitely does affect that because, they're blowing all over the place. Yeah. So we're stuck with that. But... not horrible, not exactly what I actually anticipated. Some of the fields are a little bit thin, but we're gonna work our way through it.
That's not really what we didn't anticipate. Like we knew that, we're coming off of 2 years of historic drought, and some fields that we knew needed work going into the drought, but there was obviously no point in doing anything to the fields when we were in a horrible drought.
Right.
So, I mean. It's not the worst hay we've ever cut. It's not the best, but it's not the worst.
Correct.
And moisture-wise and stuff, we didn't quite get as much moisture as I would have liked us to get, and we didn't, June was pretty dry. We had some rain in the beginning of June, not much the end of June. A lot of stuff just keeps going around us, which, right now we don't need it. It's too late at this point. I don't know. And it was almost too late in April. Before we got that snowstorm, we were not haying.
No, and yeah, we weren't for sure. We were going to scrap it.
Yeah, and if that snowstorm had happened even a week earlier, I think the hay yield would be a lot different. And if the wind had not blown 70 miles an hour during that storm, that would have been also beneficial to the hay fields.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you remember back to the hay video we did, where I actually went out and did the hula hoop thing, and I came up with about 1,200 pounds per acre. Which is actually where I think it would be close to if we were able to pick up every single piece of grass that was out there. And I think that I figured out kind of the flaw to the system that I have out there, because I am anticipating cutting every piece of hay and getting it into a bale. And obviously that's not realistic, right? Yeah. So what I'm thinking, we're probably going to average about 900 pounds an acre, which is still going to be way cheaper than buying it. Yep. And that's basically what we're going for. But I'm not really looking forward to making the video where I talk about our actual hay yields, because I'm going to get, you said 1,200 pounds an acre and your system is flawed, which it is. I do think that...
and you didn't test every field.
I didn't, no.
No, and there's huge variance in our fields.
So I think that, if I do the hay estimate with the hula hoop, I do anticipate about a 10% margin of error. This year I've got about a 25% margin of error. And I think part of that is due to the mower itself. I think there's better ways to cut hay.
Oh, we know that.
And so if I had a swather or something like that, I'd be able to do it a lot better. But for what it is and what we've got, and you get what you get, you don't throw a fit. I mean, really, I'm happy with what we're doing.
Oh my gosh, guys! To be able to cut hay, even if it's not the best hay or the best quantity, obviously it was worth running the equipment.
Right.
We're figuring we're hearing things upwards of 300 per ton, and like that's not probably unrealistic for what we saw hay prices last year. Most of the West is still very much in a drought. Southern Wyoming, Colorado, like they're not haying. Montana's not haying. We kind of got slammed. South Dakota, North Dakota, us got kind of slammed with that April blizzard. Mine at North Dakota got like 2 really bad blizzards. So we're kind of just in a bubble. So like by no means is the drought broken.
Yeah.
For most of the West, it is still a really horrible drought situation. We are extremely lucky to be able to cut any hay this year. And there's tons of comments about like you should plant this grass and you should do this and you should fertilize and you should spread compost and you should till your fields and all of this stuff. We don't want to hear it. Like in all honesty,
it's just not the time to do that.
Yeah.
I was actually right now Jeff and I are working on a 160-acre hayfield, which is huge. Number one, but also we've been fighting the weather. We had rain. We've been in the situation where Jeff is raking, windrows together, and I'm trying to bale as fast as I can before the rainstorms hit. Tonight it was the wind came in, 40-mile-an-hour wind, and blew that away. But I'm driving around and I'm looking at it, I'm like, what can we do to this field to make it better? And really, like, what can you afford to do to this field? Because 160 acres is really expensive to reseed. It's really expensive to fertilize. So it's like, I can't do both in the same year.
It's not that it's not worth it. Like, it is something that we will do. But, like, we spent $60,000 on hay last year.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
Recovering from that is part of the issue, too.
And the year before wasn't quite as bad, but it was still really astronomically high. There's no money to do both at the same time. So it was either feed animals or put money into seed and fertilizer that, like, I'm still not convinced the drought is broke. Like, I don't even know that this fall is the right time to seed fields.
I do think that, at least here, like, eventually you just got to jump in.
Yeah.
Like, you say, okay, like, when we reseeded 250 acres. This is before YouTube. But we reseeded 250 acres, and then nothing. No rain the next year. I mean, we were just out of that money.
Spring.
I thought it was in the fall. No, we did it in the spring. That's right. Yeah. And then nothing. And it was just like, well, that was a giant waste of money. Not only the seed cost, which was like $16,000, but also fuel cost and everything else, and time and everything else on top of it. So, Brian, thank you very much. I know that you're always in our corner, and man, you've been with us for a very long time. So I really do appreciate your support and everybody's support here, because that's something that I've seen so much of. That it's people rooting for us, people praying for us, that kind of stuff. That it really does help. And honestly, there are times when we're out there on that 160 acres that we're working on now, and Jeff will tell you the same thing. He'd probably say it twice as much as I do. But there's times you're going through there going, is this freaking worth it? Like, why am I out here? This is so dumb.
So here's there may be some nitrogen help. Not if it doesn't rain. It would do more harm than good. And yes, you're right. Like, at some point we're just going to have to do it. We're going to have to reseed, and we're going to probably have to fertilize.
Yep.
But it's just with the cost of inputs right now, it is just, and the drought that is not over, it's too risky.
Yeah.
I just don't think that this fall is we need a wet winter, like a really wet winter, before that drought cycle breaks. And so we kind of run in 10-year cycles. We are at the end of a 10-year drought cycle. Like, it's close, right? Like, we are getting way more thunderstorms than we did last year. Like, we obviously had more spring moisture. Our winter was still really dry. Like, it's this close to breaking.
And it's very rare. Brian just said it. At 15 inches of rain per year, there's no inputs that would actually pay with increased hay yields. It's very rare to see somebody up here fertilizing, reseeding. I mean, I've seen 5 people in the last 14 years actually get out a seeder and actually do something. Gilbert used to raise hay barley, and so he would actually till in ground every year and that kind of thing. But being able to to actually justify that cost, I think I almost feel like even talking about fertilizing and reseeding and stuff, like, we're bucking the norm, which we're doing all the time around here, so that's not really that big of a deal. But to do that is like, you look at these people that have been here for 100 years, and their families have been here for 100 years, and you go, well, maybe they're onto something, or maybe they're just not. I mean, who knows which side of the fence you want to be on.
The prairie itself is regenerative, right? Like, it takes care of itself, and you will have periods of great prairie grass and periods of poor prairie grass. If we weren't here, if mankind wasn't here, and the buffalo, the bison were grazing this, like, there would still be grass here. It is a regenerative system. There's tons of different species out there. Grass falls, it dies, it decomposes. Like
Cows poop.
Yeah, it is a natural ecosystem that is happening out there.
Right.
It's not like a corn or bean system where it's very monoculture and with bare soil. Like raising hay on the prairie and dryland hay farming is extremely different from most of American agriculture. And so like it is a self-sustaining system to some extent. We can make it better and we can make it more worth our time to cut hay. But
yeah, we've had a lot of comments about, go spread manure, which is actually something we do. We just let the cows do it for us. So we've actually been grazing our hay fields for the past 2 years. Out there cutting them and raking and baling, I'm not seeing that much manure. So the manure is breaking down. It's getting into the system. We harrow, which helps with that. But not a whole. Every once in a while, I see a cow pie come flipping up, kind of thing.
Like a cow compost, even when composted, it's only like 2% nitrogen. Like it's really, really low. And so, like, yes, it's free. We have an abundance of it, but diesel's not free. I got excited because we just paid $5.15 a gallon. Like, it was like, oh wow, that's it. I filled up our truck the other day. It was $180 just to put diesel in the truck.
I know,
right? And again, even if you spread compost, it needs moisture to incorporate into the soil. Otherwise, it just sits on top of it.
Yeah. So I mean, this is a perfect example. Okay, so I give a tour every single morning, and I talk about this. But we talk about we were in the auction system, and we were letting other people dictate how much money we made. We're also at the mercy of Mother Nature, right? So we're at the mercy of how much rain we're going to get. So us getting out of the auction system and saying, hey, we're going 100% to end consumer is our way of saying, you know what, we can't beat this system, so screw it. Like, we're going to make our own system. We're going to do our own thing, and we're going to figure out how to make this work. I think the same thing is going to happen with the pasture and hay crops and that kind of thing, is being able to take whatever we can make work and make it work for us. And I think that's one of the most important lessons you can learn in ranching or farming, is trying to make what you have work for you. You get what you get. You don't throw a fit, but you need to have work with what you've got and make it work for you.
Yeah, and Brian, you're right. Even with free compost and all the blessings of the cow, like, it is not worth spreading it at this point.
No,
it's not. And really, like, it needs some tillage into the soil and stuff too.
Yeah. And if we were going to do fertilizer, we do like a slow release nitrogen fertilizer.
Yeah, that's like a 3-month slow release. Yeah,
because we can't do our soil is so sandy that if we put too much nitrogen, that's wasting money. You're just pissing that down the drain too, because it's just a waste of time.
Yeah, and the amount, the volume of you would want to compost it before you go spread it, right? Like, that makes the nitrogen more available. It's less likely to burn. Like, you want to compost it, so that takes time. We have compost going everywhere. You need straw to compost. I would want to compost. I know not everybody does that. You could just go spread it. But the volume that we would need to do all of our hay fields is astronomical. Like, it's so much. We don't doing liquid would be the best.
Maybe.
But we don't have, like, we'd have to buy some equipment to do that.
And you don't get that around here. Like, no. I don't see a whole lot of liquid fertilizer around
here. People
so.
aren't fertilizing here, guys. Like, we're not abnormal. Like, people are
it's
not
like, okay, so when
fertilizing
people say, why don't you have dairy farms there? Because we're not set up to have, we've never had dairy farms here. There's no place to sell milk. There's no infrastructure for that set up.
There's no grain to feed the cows.
So that doesn't happen. Same thing with, like, liquid fertilizer or whatever else. Like, that's just how this area was built. So
dry land, high desert, prairie farming. Right. It is different.
Same thing, but then again, like I said, we're bucking that system. So moving away from the auction system, selling stuff. This is stuff that's never been done up here. And I'm not saying they will never fertilize it, because I think that at some point we're going to have to figure out how to do that.
And we'll plant different grasses.
Bucking the system doesn't all happen in the same day either.
No, like, we'll plant some different grasses. I know everyone wants us to plant Sudan grass and stuff, and, like, we will look at all of those options.
Who did we talk to about Sudan? Oh, from Oklahoma. If there's a guy that was here from Oklahoma, we were talking about Sudan grass, and he said, if you said that down to people in my area, they'd look at you just, what? Yeah. What are you talking about? Yeah.
And none of all of those suggestions, and there is new technology, and there's new grasses, and there's new varieties, and they all are supposed to do better in drought. It doesn't mean that any of them are a miracle fix and it's going to solve all of our problems individually on their own. We still need it to rain or snow.
Right.
We need moisture.
Yeah. So. Brian watches war games. The only way to win is to not play the game. That's very true.
Yeah. No. Yeah. And I know there's been a lot
Have you ever seen war games?
No.
Matthew Broderick, you know who that is?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we don't play the game. We just make our own game.
Yeah, we quit that game.
We get tons of questions. Do you have enough hay for your cows? Well, we don't know how many cows we're going to have.
Yeah, that's another math question we have to sit down and figure out because, I have this theory this year. It may not work, but I just go cut hay until I have enough for the cows for the winter because, like, we have less cows, so I can go cut weird places where the cows would graze, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I'll just go cut that and rake it and bale it, and then save that for winter ground or for winter feeding. So, I mean, I think that's going to kind of happen. We're going to figure that out as we go.
But it's also like a moving target, right? So, like, I know how many steers we need because our processing is scheduled.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that number, but like the number of heifers that we keep back, that might change. Or we'll keep all the heifers that we have here. If we buy additional heifers, like that number can change. We don't know how many empty cows that we'll have. Like that's always kind of we figure 10%. But that number might be significantly different. Or we might say, let's get rid of some more of the older cows. Like we might say, let's buy some younger cows. Like it's all a lot of moving targets yet. And like I don't think we're going to figure out our cow numbers until the end of the year.
Yeah. I mean, we can have a rough estimate, but I could say, hey, we're going to feed 2 bales a year or 2 bales a day throughout the winter. I mean, that's a very rough estimate, but then I can say, okay, so I need 360 bales or whatever I need to be able to get through the winter. So, that's kind of how it's going.
And we might buy a load of hay. Like we might be like, it's worth it to buy a load of hay.
It may be worth it to buy a load of alfalfa.
Yeah.
Just a really high protein hay when we're coming into calving and do some mixing and all that kind of stuff. So it's an interesting problem that we've set ourselves up for. Yeah, but I think it's one that we're gonna solve as we move forward. So thank you, Brian, for taking the first 17 minutes of the live stream. One simple question, but yeah, I mean it's what everybody's been wondering about. I mean. And, like tomorrow, Tuesday's video is actually a Q&A video. We invited people on Patreon and people on the community tab to ask questions. And because I have a lot of time in the tractor and driving around in circles, I'm just going to make a video where I answer questions throughout the whole video. So
and there were some good ones.
There are some really good questions, and I think that, and in fact, I think I have some questions that not only I get to answer, but I think I have some questions that Erin's going to answer. I have some questions that the kids are going to answer as well. So I think it's going to be a fun video to put together and be able to make work. Brian, we'll get you your cheerleading outfit as soon as we can. I just need to know what dress size you wear. So
Bob Hoyer said farming and ranching at 4,600 elevation is different than 600 feet. Yeah, absolutely. Not only are we dealing with very limited precipitation, but we are at 4,600 feet. And that if you've ever been to a mountainous region, like it is different here.
Mm-hmm. Definitely different. Hugh asked if we thought about aerating our hay fields. Hi Hugh, how are we doing? Haven't seen you for a while. I actually have looked at it. We actually talked to an aerator company that makes the big aerators because obviously you can't go get the one that's in Menards or Home Depot or whatever. It'd take you forever. But they do make large aerators. I remember talking to them. They actually came to the farm store a few years ago, and I talked to them, and now I do not remember the name of that company. I should probably give them a call. It is something that is very beneficial, I think. I've actually seen there was a couple of hay fields that I was out working in and haying this spring or this summer that I could see where the moisture had gotten into the soil more, whether the soil was cracked or that kind of thing. So I think that it's definitely something that could be looked at and maybe an easy solution for things.
There's a number of things that can be done besides just seeding Sudan grass and fertilizing. So I mean that is the most common thing that we get.
I think it starts at the beginning though. Now it is about the plant and the grass, but I think it's more about the soil.
Yeah.
And being able to get moisture into that soil. So.
And like to do like regenerative agriculture, you actually go out and like to cover crop it. You spray your hay fields. You put them into cover crop with a variety of species for like 4 years, and then you go back and you plant a prairie grass mix into it, and that soil fertility that you've increased during your 4 years of cover cropping, it stays in the soil for about 10 years because soil reverts to its natural state. That's what happens over time, and so then you have to repeat that process. And so it's not a go do all your fields at one time. It is like it's a cycle.
Well, and you can't because you take a field out of production for regenerative purposes. You're not getting anything off of that field.
Well, so you can still graze those regenerative crops.
You get something out of it, but you're not getting winter hay out of it.
Well, you can winter graze them. Actually, you have to.
Really?
Well, it depends. So, like we've talked to Conservation District and USDA, multiple times about it. And so, like, yeah, there's some cover crop mixes that you actually have to wait till a frost and then you winter graze them. And all those things are great, and like, but they're very expensive. It's an annual input cost, which, like, if we budget that in, that's fine. But it also is putting things like Roundup and stuff on the soil, which, like, I'm not opposed to Roundup. It's not as evil as the world has made it out to be. But again, if it doesn't rain, then we just have a barren field there.
With a whole bunch of dry stuff sitting on top. Jesse asked how many cows are left to calve. We're down to one. Number 76 Green. She's out there. I checked on her today, and she looked at me like I didn't know what I was talking about. I was like, when are you going to have a calf? And she was just like, whenever. So we'll keep an eye on her. Eventually, we will get to the point where, like, okay, she obviously is not pregnant anymore or something happened there, but she still looks pregnant, so who knows. Let's see. Bluegrass. Did that come in with the brought bales? That's from EZ down in Las Vegas. So the bulbous bluegrass that I showed in that video, actually found out it's actually an invasive species that does better in cool weather, and we did have a pretty cool spring.
Yeah.
So it actually can kind of take over everything.
So it was
we got
a
a lot of
seed
it.
that was sitting in the soil,
Just hanging out, waiting for the right moment.
I don't know when the last time that was.
I haven't seen it.
We haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But that's the crazy thing about the prairie and about native soils and stuff, is that seeds can hang out for a long time until the right conditions arise. The cool spring is also impacting, we can tell it's impacting our yield and stuff. Like, the grass isn't as tall as it should be.
Right.
Like, we've had a very cool spring. Even into June, we had lows into the 30s because of that wonderful 4,600 feet above sea level. That's what that does to us. And so, yeah, it's just been hanging out. We'd have to ask Extension or something when the last time they saw, I don't know, it's not a bloom. When this was. Yeah,
when it came through again.
Yeah.
They're actually, I got
it's all over the county. Like, it's all over
Wyoming.
Yeah.
I had the Extension office from Sheridan got a hold of me and said, hey, this is what's going on. Yeah. And they invited me to come over and talk about it, or go over and sit down. They have like a meeting about what they're going to do about it, but I couldn't make it. So let's see. I saw something. Your ranch is higher than the tallest mountain in Vermont, which is Mount Mansfield at 4,400 feet. Yeah. Isn't the tallest mountain in North Dakota, isn't that? It's like 3,800 feet or something like that in North Dakota. It's crazy. Yeah. So, I just totally messed up. Weber asked, how's the baler working? Pretty good. I mean, it's making decent bales. The grass is a little shorter than what we like in those bales, so it does kind of make a little bit, not quite the tightest bale that I like, but they look decent. I got to get a bale in, and I got to get it weighed and kind of figure out where I'm at for averages. From Joe Kunk, do your steer calves like the bales you buy or the bales you make more? It depends on what's in it.
Like alfalfa.
Yeah, if you bring an alfalfa bale, they go crazy.
Or like a grain hay. So
what was that stuff? Millet. We got millet.
Millet or hay barley or any of those grains that are cut so they're cut before the grain is mature, and so like the head is still attached, like the grain doesn't fall out. Mm-hmm. They like any of that kind of stuff, but they like alfalfa. But they'll eat whatever we feed them. Yeah. They might complain about it for a while, but
they figure out this is what I'm getting. You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. That's the moral of today's story. Let's see.
They do like the most expensive stuff. Although like millet or hay barley and stuff like that's not always. It's hard to find, but it's not usually horribly expensive. It's actually usually a little cheaper. Yeah. But the bales are lighter.
True. Yeah, they are.
Right. Yeah, because it's essentially a straw.
Yeah, with a little bit of grain in it. Yeah. Ginger asked about tilling. So it depends on what you're talking about. So you got deep tilling where you're just saying, okay, I'm turning this whole field over and I'm starting over. That usually doesn't end well around here. In fact, usually people say don't till up prairie grass because you're just destroying prairie grass. It's been there for 100 years. Gilbert used to do a thing where he would go through and rip a field, and that's where he would take a till, like a spring tine, and go down just a couple inches. And the theory is there that plants become root bound.
Yeah, and you're breaking up your hard pan and your crust.
So the plant is still there.
Yes.
So you're just going down a couple inches. You're just tilling just a little bit. That works too. I mean, I've seen it done. I haven't done it since Gilbert passed away.
We've done it with mixed results. Some years it worked really great. If you did that and maybe like if you don't, we don't have a grain drill or a no-till seeder.
No-till, yeah.
Or no-till drill. So if you did that and then like broadcasted, like you can have, like if you wanted to put in some alfalfa or, you know, whatever, some other stuff into it, like that's not a bad way to do it. We've done it and had it make zero difference on the field. So, and some places it actually can damage the field. So
we've got a 80-acre hay field that never does really well, and we've tore that up or ripped it a couple times, and it just didn't really work out.
We're not done haying, so we don't have any idea.
So we've only cut up to today. We've cut 325 acres. Over 100 acres of that is still laying on the ground. We still have to get it raked up and baled. Everywhere else, we're averaging that about 900 pounds per acre. So not great, but not horrible. And obviously, when you're paying $5,000 for 30 bales to get to the ranch via truck, you know, if we could get $5,000, you know, or $10,000 off of a single field, we're ahead of the game. You're not burning that much fuel. We've been doing fuel. We've been really keeping track of stuff there. I've been trying to really keep track of stuff this year. You know, the mowing tractor burns about 2.5, I think that's what I said, 2.5 or 3 gallons per hour. Our raking tractor is right around 2 gallons an hour. I haven't quite figured out what the baling tractor does yet.
Well, I thought the raking tractor would go longer.
No, it's about 2 gallons an hour. It's better than the mower because you're not running any PTO or anything.
But you said the mower does 2.5 gallons per hour.
Yeah.
Oh, that's more. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a rough day. But yeah, with fuel prices and stuff like that, we really do have to keep track, even all the way down to net wrap. Like how much does a roll of net wrap cost? I still have net wrap that we've had for 3 years because we bought net wrap when we went to hay in 19, and it's been sitting there. So luckily, we paid whatever we paid for that back then. I mean, I don't know what the price of net wrap is now.
Mom and Gilbert used to pay like $200 for a thing in net wrap, and then I think like that stuff in 19 was probably like $300. I don't know. Guys, what's a roll of net wrap? It's like John Deere net wrap.
Yeah, so John Deere coverage.
We tried the off-brand, and it was awful.
I think that John Deere engineers their balers to like their net wrap. I got net wrap at Baumgart's that one year.
It was awful.
Oh my gosh, it wouldn't cut. It didn't wrap right. I was constantly fighting with it. Honestly, we pulled the baler out. I'll tell you this: we pulled the baler out. We put our new hoses on it because we had the leaky hose. We had a little bit of wiring to fix. We greased it up. We cleaned it up. I took it out. Our very first bale, perfect. Yeah. Wrapped it, cut it. I was actually expecting kind of a mess because you end up with those. Sometimes it doesn't cut, so you end up with a bale that's got 37,000 wraps on it, and really nice looking bale, but it's 95% net wrap. I haven't had any problems. I mean, I changed out the net wrap, no problem at all. I mean, the baler's been doing great. So. Yeah.
Baling tractor would be 2 to 3 times what the raking tractor.
It may be, and it's a bigger tractor too, so it'll probably burn quite a bit more fuel. Yeah, and that thing's running, you know, at 2,200 RPM the whole time, and so is the mowing tractor too, but that's a smaller tractor.
You're not pulling much.
And you're not pulling as much weight. Yeah, that baler weighs a ton.
Especially when it's fall.
We could just have a hay live stream. I mean, it's lots of stuff going on with haying, but. See if there's any questions in here that don't have anything to do with haying.
Do you guys have any other questions?
If you have questions about haying, that's fine too. I mean, Jeff and I have kind of been going like crazy. Erin went out and got some haying time in. If you follow us on Facebook, you saw pictures that Erin was taking from inside the tractor as we were out there working together. We've had a couple of nights that we went out until after dark, lights on, going out, trying to get stuff done. So
yeah, I've been rained out the last 2 nights. Yeah. Winded out tonight. The last night rained out. Just a little, like 3/100ths of an inch.
That's all it takes, though. Yeah. It just takes.
You can't
put up wet hay. No. So.
And even cutting and stuff, like it dries faster standing up than laying down. So like it's just a little tiny bit of rain and it just shuts you down. And we don't get our rain till like late in the afternoon, of course. So it's just
So we're racing. We're watching the storm come. Actually, you can watch it on the webcam. We're out there and you're seeing the storm come, and it's like, okay, go faster. Make things happen faster. Jeff asked if we ever checked the profit margin on pork sales versus beef sales. Maybe increase your pork sales.
Well, our pigs get hay though too.
Yeah, our pigs get a little, not as much, obviously.
No, but grain's expensive. You know, a ton of feed last year cost like $300 to $350. We're paying over $500 for a ton of feed right now. You know, corn's like $7 some a bushel right now. So grain's not any more economical right now. We're just bleeding money out the door right now. So.
Yeah, I saw net wrap $300 for a roll. So not as high as I thought it would be.
That's not as bad as I thought.
Team No Skills Racing, thank you for the $5 super chat there. Will you get the hay tested to check and see how good it is? We have to. That's what it's about. We have to know what we're working with. So we will get it tested this year, and I think we'll probably end up testing. We don't have a whole lot of alfalfa left in any fields because we do need to reseed some alfalfa. So it's going to be pretty much just pasture grass throughout. So we may not need to test every single field, but it's pretty much all the same. Yeah. All right. How's the garden doing, Erin?
Weedy.
It's weedy.
It's okay. It's doing good. Tomatoes look good. I mean, everything looks good. It's just weeding time right now. Potatoes and onions. That garden's weeded. It looks great. Winter squash is kicking butt, man. It's growing every day.
Is it really? I haven't been over there to look at it.
The weeds are also growing. That's the bad thing about the little bit of. So last year we had like no rain, and so like the winter squash is all on drip irrigation. So like we didn't really have much weeds. And this year, because it's been sprinkling a little bit, like the weeds are growing in the walkways. So that's on the to-do list. Spring crops are essentially done. I have a little bit of cabbage left, some kale and some chard.
Are you harvesting anything right now?
Cabbage, kale, and chard. That's about it right now. We're just waiting for summer crops to get going. I think my spinach is really ready. I gotta weed it.
Yeah.
I have not been feeling good for the last few days, so I'm not where I need to be in the gardens, but we'll get caught up and yeah. The gardens look good though. I mean, just weedy, but it's not the end of the world.
They look great. Ginger asked, it's a shame you can't put a camera in the baler. I mentioned that to Erin. I was like, I should send a camera through the baler. Really, it would just you see black. And then she was like, how are you going to get your camera back? It's like, oh, yeah, it'd be gone until we feed that bale. Or I roll it back out and go find it. But, yeah.
It just rolls around in there. If you could mount it to, like, the side or something. But it's so dark in there.
Yeah, I don't think you'd be able to see anything.
Like a night vision camera.
Yeah. William, what are you guys drinking tonight? Erin's actually just drinking water. She doesn't feel well. And I've got my usual 7 and 7 going for me tonight. Joe said, let me know if you need any seed. 400 acres of alfalfa. Wow, that's crazy.
Has the latest 18 gone to freezer camp Tuesday?
Oh, yeah, Tuesday they do go. Yeah.
Yeah, Tuesday. And so then if you're on Patreon, like it'll take like 3 to 4 weeks for us to get it back. But if you're on Patreon, like we'll have steaks back in stock.
Right now it's like smoker packages, some sausage packages, stuff like that online if you're a Patreon supporter. And you can order that.
There's some good stuff and some stuff that we haven't had before. We talked about it during our Patreon.
Like brisket?
Yeah, there's half briskets. Yep. But yeah, it's nice to...
Tri-tip.
Yeah, there's tri-tip. There's pork tenderloins. Like, there's some good stuff on there. But yeah, we should have steaks back in stock. I'm hoping by the end of the month, we'll see how quick their turnaround is.
Yeah, for sure. Let's take a look here. Answer a few questions.
Have you checked into making pork jerky from Jeff Lee? Our processor would have to do it.
That's something we haven't been offered.
And they have to go through a whole USDA process and stuff when they add a product and everything. So I don't think it's something they're interested in.
No, they did some prosciutto. Prosciutto. That was really good. I wish she would continue on with that. I never did hear.
We can't keep pork in stock, so I can't imagine taking it. Like, because we don't have sows and boars, like, I just can't see that it would be profitable because you get, like, literally 10% of the animal back when you do jerky. Like, the yield is horrible.
Yeah.
So it'd be great for, like, older sows and boars. Not great for, like, Finnish hogs.
That reminds me. We had a gal and her husband come through the tour. They stayed in our Harvest Home spot last night, and they came on the tour this morning. And she was buying jerky. And she asked us how much the jerky was, and I told her, and she told me a story. She said she made jerky at home. So they had an air fryer. She found a recipe to make this jerky. She bought like 30 pounds of meat.
She got 3 pounds of jerky.
She got not even that much.
Yeah.
She made all this jerky, and she said it was really expensive. I made it, and and my husband ate all of it in like one day.
Yeah.
And she was like, I was so annoyed that it was gone, and it cost so much money. So she said, I understand why jerky is so expensive, because it does take a full roast to make 3 ounces of jerky.
Yeah, no, it's literally a 1,200-pound cow gives us like 100 pounds of jerky.
Yeah,
like
crazy.
90 to 100 pounds of jerky. So I wouldn't do it with our young pigs. We don't do it with our steers. Like it's empty cows that go into jerky because it's cooked and seasoned. And so you cannot we don't grain them. We don't do anything with them. We just ship them and then make them into jerky. If we were farrowing pigs, is that the right word?
Mm-hmm.
We don't do that here. Eating an older animal is always somewhat, like, it's not the same quality as a younger animal. So yeah, that'd be a great place for turkey.
Yeah, for sure.
But probably not something we'll ever offer.
Target weight for freezer camp.
1,200 pounds.
About 1,200 is what we're looking for. We probably, if we have time, we'll get these guys weighed before they go on Tuesday. Not that it makes much difference at this point. It is what it is. They're going to go, but we'll definitely, hopefully they hit that spot. So.
Yeah, and we are zone 4B.
Yep.
For growing.
Mike?
Our average last frost date is May 20th. First frost date is September 20th. But really, Memorial Day to Labor Day is our growing season.
Yep.
Pretty much.
From Michael there, the ranch is in Campbell County, Wyoming. High school mascot the Camels, and he lives in Campbell County, Kentucky, and the high school is the Camels as well.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was coordinated that way.
I don't know.
Who was first? Probably the Kentucky one. More likely. Lori asked if we deliver to Iowa. Well, we send beef and pork wherever UPS goes. So
if maybe UPS comes to your house, they'll deliver.
You'd be surprised how many emails I get where people say, "Hey, can you deliver beef or pork to Kentucky?" For
We're
example.
not delivering it.
And it's like, if UPS goes to your house, you can get beef and pork from us. It's 2-day delivery, off it goes, and it's on the way. So.
Yeah, we're not delivering it. UPS does it. I don't have time to deliver it.
We'll go and deliver everything.
Yeah.
Harvest host. Jeff answered that one. Okay. Yeah.
2 days.
2 days usually.
Free martins have not been tested.
Not yet, no. And they can do a visual examination too, from what the vet was telling me. They can do
palpation.
A palpation.
Not visual.
Well, okay, palpation, and they can tell what's going on as well.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, it's just right now we got a lot of stuff going on, so they're not going anywhere. So, is the mail order beef doing okay? Yeah, we're doing great. We're shipping beef every single week, all over the U.S. So, been good.
Yeah.
Been good for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what else do you have going on coming up? I know we're haying because that's going to go on here for a little while longer, and then once we get all our hay down, then we get to hook up the Mac and haul all the hay home and get it all stacked. What do you have going on the next couple of weeks?
Sweeting.
So you're.
I have a fundraiser for EPP coming up for my nonprofit.
Oh yeah, you'll probably see that if you subscribe to our newsletter.
Yeah.
It's WYO Gives, correct?
Yeah. So July 13th. It's our biggest fundraiser of the year for Edible Prairie Project, and it's an online day of giving. It's similar to like Giving Tuesday that happens during the holiday season, but it's Wyoming centered, and it's done by the Wyoming Nonprofit Network, and any C3 in the state can participate in it. And so this is our third year of doing it. It's the third year that it's happened, but so I've been spending a lot of time working on that. Lining up matches, writing newsletters. We have a block party here in town with 13 other nonprofits. So yeah, it's our biggest day of fundraising. OWL supporters, you guys have always been super great and donated. I will have a peer-to-peer fundraising link that I will send out in the newsletter. Don't feel obligated that you have to donate.
Are you going to do it on Facebook also?
Possibly, yeah. If you want to throw $10 at my nonprofit, great, thank you. If you cannot, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. But we always do really well. I think last year we finished in the top 15 in the state. Like we do really, we spend a lot of time and effort to make this a successful day of fundraising for us. It helps us buy food for summer weekend meals for kids. It helps us supplement our veggie basket program, which is free to low income residents, and it helps pay salaries. It's undisclosed. So like when you get grants and stuff, like they're for very specific things. Like I get grants for infrastructure, or I get grants for food, or I get grants for other very specific things. A lot of this money is applied to purchasing food for our weekend food bags for kids, but it's also for salaries and staff. And like I cannot execute programs without staff. Mm-hmm. We're big enough now that it's impossible. So.
Oh crap! Melissa just reminded me. When does Duke go Bader go with Lay's? My gosh, we've been so worried about calving.
Should have put him in.
We probably should have went out a couple days ago. We got to do that. We got to get him moved. And Brian asked the steers that are now in your feedlot, are they out on pasture? Actually, right now they're in a corral because we're fencing around where we built the new RV area. So once we get that fenced in, which we're a little behind on that. Once we get that fenced in, then we can move the cows, the steers, the scrubs is what we call them, the C team. We'll move them over onto pasture, so they'll be right over there by themselves.
Well, and Tuesday we need to get we need to shuffle some cows around on Tuesday. So you can probably just take Doof down to the ladies.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. We might as well just get everybody in all at once. Yeah. So, yeah, it's been a little busy around here, and some things do fall. I totally forgot about putting Doof out with the cows.
I did too.
Yeah, totally
Thanks,
forgot
Melissa.
about it. Just been trying to get, it seems like haying this year, I mean, honestly, has been a priority. Obviously, trying to get it done as fast as possible. Fighting the weather has been a thing. But
Well, we're just not used to it. We're out of practice and stuff.
that's true, too. Yeah.
I would like us to go faster. It seems to be taking a while. But this field that you're in now, like, it's always...
It takes forever.
time
And once we get out of that 160-acre field, the other ones seem to just
And
happen
it's not that you're
quick.
It's not that you're like anything is going any differently like in that field. It just seems like you're in that field for.
So that field is almost a mile long.
Yeah, it takes.
And
forever.
like just going down the row is just like, when am I gonna get to the? And then you get to the end and then you turn. So it's like NASCAR, but like really really long. Yeah. You just a series of turns.
Yeah.
Brian asked about the apple trees.
There's 4 of them still alive. They're just hanging out.
Have you had another apple off of them?
No, because we've had hail the last 2
Oh,
years.
yeah, we got hail
the
now,
hail
yeah.
has been awful. I should go look and see if they've set any apples. I don't know if I can see any apples yet. But they look good. I mean, the 4 that are alive, they look good. Yeah, I turned the drip on. I hooked the drip up the other day. Carrie and I did. So they're getting water now.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Team No Skills Racing. What's your snack of choice while you're in the field? So previously, before all the YouTube and everything happened, when I would hay, what did I always ask for?
Jerky.
Beef jerky. Erin would go to wherever you got beef jerky. I don't know where you got it. But that was what I ate. Now I don't have to because we have our own beef jerky. So I do tend to stock up and I'll have beef jerky for breakfast and for lunch and for dinner if I can. I try not to because that can cause problems down the road. But it's definitely, that's my choice when I go for, everything else melts. It's hot in there. It doesn't matter how good the air conditioning is in the tractor. I've got some trail mix that has M&Ms and peanut butter chips, or what are those called? Yeah, they're like peanut butter chips. It's turned into just a glob of goo just from being in the tractor. So
and you just usually come home for lunch because you need to fuel up, or we have got other stuff going on around here, so harvest host and that whatnot and stuff. So usually just come home and grab lunch. I don't bring you lunch in the field very often.
Not very often.
I used to.
Who has time for that anymore?
I haven't hardly eaten in several days, so yeah, you just get to suffer along with me.
Yep, exactly. Petting zoo is actually going great. I can tell you this: we had the best month that we've ever had at the farm store last month. And I don't know if that's due in part to the petting zoo. If nothing else, it's fun to move the animals back and forth every single day. But we seem to. I don't know if that's what's bringing folks in or what it is.
We've had a lot of new people.
We had chicken. We did butcher chickens.
Yeah, and I didn't even put those on Facebook. Like I just added them. Like I have a little description box on Facebook that says like everything that we have. I just put meat chickens back in there, and we sold out within like 2 weeks. So that was great. I didn't even have to make like a dedicated post that says meat chickens back in stock.
Right.
Ran out of steaks in the middle of the month. So even despite all those challenges, we had the best like month of retail sales that we've ever had. I'm going to say it's in part to the petting zoo. So we have had a lot of new faces. And Harvest Host has been good and steady, but like we're not full. Like we can tell diesel prices.
Yeah, diesel prices are affecting that. Yeah.
I'm not going to get an alligator. Nothing that's going to be super dangerous.
Why don't you get an alligator?
William.
William wants an alligator. So if you're our Patreon supporter and you caught our last Patreon only exclusive live streams, which happened at the end of the month, we had our newest additions, which are the little baby pigs that came in and hung out with us a little bit during the live stream. But we're talking about maybe putting those guys in the petting zoo. Little baby pig.
They'll dig out.
You think they'll escape?
Yes.
Escape?
Yes.
That would be funny.
They're naughty.
Pigs are loose. Actually, the emus got loose today, so that was fun.
Emus are good. I don't know if the emus will prefer the petting zoo. We'll see.
It depends on how their personalities work out to be, I think, more than anything. They are intimidating. They're getting bigger, so it's like, they're big birds that have giant beaks. And like one of them took my whole finger and put it in his mouth in his beak yesterday. And I was just like, I thought, they don't have teeth. So, but still, it's intimidating when one grabs a hold of you. They like grapes.
I love them.
They're very cute. I like frozen grapes when it's hot. See, Reener likes frozen grapes too. So do the emus.
We haven't tried frozen ones yet.
No, but I don't think they like frozen ones. I actually tried to give them orange today, and the female, she didn't let the male get any, but she took it in her mouth and she kind of tasted it, and I think it was too acidic for her or something, and she spit it out. But then they pick them back up and they try it again because it tastes better the second time. But yeah, we went round and round for a little while with that. So.
Tammy is a good pig chaser. Before we put the pigs in the petting zoo, Tammy needs to come. They need to get a little bigger because, I think they'll pretty much squeeze through.
I think they'll go through the holes.
They're just little tiny.
And I don't know how you move a pig.
You have to pick it up.
Yeah, we'd have to carry it over. And
they're small. Now we can pick them up and stuff. But yeah, they're nothing lives in the petting zoo outside of farm store hours.
Right.
So, yeah.
Brian asked, how does Mike feel about us all typing and answering each other and barely paying attention to him? It's cool, Brian. I'm not paying attention to you either, so it's totally fine.
I kind of have names for the emus. I haven't.
You haven't. You need to solidify this name thing because they're big enough now that they need names.
Mabel.
Mabel's the female. What is up with you and the old people names? Ethel and Mabel.
Yeah.
Are we stepping back to the 30s or something?
I just can't decide on a boy name. So.
Interesting.
I'll figure it out.
I saw some coyote. Well, we were out haying. Jeff and I saw either they're coyote pups or fox pups. We're not exactly sure yet. We just saw them for a few minutes, and we saw those out running around out there. So
pigs that are shown at fair, they're trained to move with those sticks. Those kids spend a lot of time working with those pigs. Our little piglets that are 30 pounds. They're not going to move with a stick.
I don't think so.
And I'm not interested in investing enough time in the pigs. We can't even get the goats to move. It is a freaking disaster every day.
Well, so the goats at first the goats went right for the chicken food.
Yeah.
That 1-ton chicken feeder that I built, apparently it's attracts goats. So they would go to that. Now we fenced them off, so we have a gate now so they can't get to that side. But then they found a bag of chicken food or something that has a hole in it.
Yeah, it's chicken food. That's up in the shed.
Yeah, so now they make a beeline for that.
Yeah.
So, and now they all have leashes.
No, we're still missing 2 leashes.
We're missing 2 leashes, but they all have collars.
You ordered some leashes.
Yeah, so we're trying to streamline this thing.
Have you ever tried to walk multiple goats on a leash? It's not.
And you got to throw a donkey in there. You got to throw Ethel in there.
Yeah.
And then it's very interesting. It's a lot of fun. It's a fiasco. It is a fiasco. Yeah. Michael, thanks, mods, for letting us have fun in the chat. Guys, that's the whole point of this. I mean, honestly, you could listen to us yap for an hour, but I think it's more fun to get people together who from across the world and may not have anything in common and get a chance to hang out with each other, because that's what we do, right? I mean, we may not have anything in common with you guys, but you guys watch us. Now, why not hang out with other folks that you may not have anything in common with and make friends? I mean, it's a good time. So thank you very much for being here. Can you feed the cow cake to the goats? I never have given them cake. It's
too big.
Yeah, they might not be able to break it open. They do like chicken food, that's for sure.
Oh my gosh, they love grain.
Yeah.
I think nutritionally they could eat it, but the littles.
It is high in protein.
And they don't need a lot of protein.
They don't need a lot of protein. No. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that they need it. And there's probably specific goat pellets that we could get, but they just eat hay.
Yeah, they'll eat whatever you give them. Yeah. So, Lori said train them with a bucket of feed. Yeah, we've tried that. Yeah. So
it's hard when there's feed other places.
Yeah, that's kind of part of the problem. And they get into the bucket, and you get 4 or 5 goats with their heads in a bucket, and they're kind of overpowering almost.
Well, Pip is ridiculous, and he's got his horns, and yeah, it's sometimes you can't get the bucket out of their faces. All of us have gotten where we need help to get the bucket away from, because they just push it down to the ground and you can't pull it out. And you're
constantly fighting them. It's fun. I mean, honestly, we complain about it, but it's something that everybody looks forward to. Even Mackenzie, she'll come out and say, hey, are we gonna move goats today? And it's like, yep, let's go. Of course, then she grabs Ethel and she's like, I'll move Ethel. It's like, really, you're gonna move the easiest animal to move? And yeah, she's all down with that. So
yeah, she wants to always move Ethel. I'm always like, really? Could you take Jack or something?
Can you take one of the things that are a problem?
Yeah. And so, we were trying to just get them to like just walk over there, right, with a bucket and animal crackers and treats and stuff, and give that. We gave up on that. So now everybody has collars. Most of them had collars, but we got collars on all of them. Leashes. We were short 2 leashes, but you ordered some.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's still like you still end up carrying one, like a naughty toddler.
Oh yeah, exactly. You're like, you're just done.
Yeah,
we're going. Get
Jack,
on.
you're dead.
Yeah, we're moving. Hugh asked if we got a hold of YDOT about hay at the roadsides. Actually, our neighbor has been doing that for years, so we just kind of let him take care of it. He does kick some hay our way occasionally, so it works out well.
He's got a swather. It'd be pretty hard with the mower and like the rake.
Yeah, the rake would be tough to go down the ditch, especially when you're at this angle and that might be kind of interesting.
There's a culvert to get around. Yeah, it would be. You kind of need a swather, which we don't have. So.
Yeah, exactly. Would you consider a llama or alpaca?
Yeah, probably at some point.
Yeah.
Not this year.
Not this year. Please, not this year. Let's see. Everybody's slowing down. Everybody's getting tired. Plans for the 4th of July?
Fireworks. We'll take the kids. You're going to take the kids to buy some fireworks?
Yeah, we're going to go buy some fireworks tomorrow. We'll do a few fireworks. We don't do a whole lot of big, loud boom stuff. We do more sparklers and fountains and that kind of stuff. Tends to not upset the animals as much. You can definitely, spook emus or goats or anything like that. We don't want to traumatize anybody, so we tend to keep a little bit lower key, but, it's still fun.
Yeah, and then Gillette has a big fireworks display, so we'll go out for that.
Yeah, exactly. So. And I'll film tomorrow. I'll make a video tomorrow, and I'll edit tomorrow, and we'll hay tomorrow. So there's lots of stuff going on. You getting tired?
I am tired.
Yeah, it's all good. We're almost there.
I was napping before this. So.
She did. She made me wake her up at 6:30. Let's go. Caleb, how much does it start to cost a ranch, including cows, feed, and equipment? A lot. And land. Don't forget land. You're going to throw land in there.
That is such a variable question.
I get emails all the time when people are saying, hey, I want a ranch. How do I do it? It's probably the hardest question I ever get to answer because I don't know where you're at. Number one.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about your situation, your family, all that stuff. I mean, who knows? It's a really hard question to answer.
There is no answer for that. There's no $1 million or $500,000.
Yeah, there's the old joke that if you want to make $1 million at ranching, start with $2 million. Yeah. And now that may be start at $5 million, and maybe you'll still walk out with $1 million. Brian said the zebras would be a hell of an attraction. They would. It
also cost $10,000.
Yeah, $10,000 a piece for a zebra. Not that I've checked, but
But somehow we know that.
Yeah, somehow we know that. Let's see. See if I missed any questions here. It's funny. Nasty animals, llamas and alpacas spit. They do. I mean I've been around a lot of them, though I've never been spit on.
Lots of people have opinions about the emus too. So.
Oh, they have opinions about the goats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got a really nasty religious email from one time about having goats and how goats
are the devil.
They're the devil, and we shouldn't have them on the ranch.
Jackie Boy is the sweetest animal, and they're all super sweet.
Yeah, they are. Christy, thank you very much for the $50 super chat there. Fireworks and adult beverage fund. Yeah, we're going to need it. Not at the same time, right? Because that would be unsafe.
Don't hold the fireworks, guys.
Yeah, no doubt. We all like our fingers. Yeah. If I catch wind of any subscriber losing a finger, I'm going to have a fit.
What are you, their dad now?
Yeah, exactly. Somebody needs to lay down the law, right? Jen said 10K isn't bad for a zebra.
Yeah, it's
probably
fine.
Not, honestly. I mean, it's ridiculous. I could, if we had a zebra, and we're on the highway, so people driving by. Could you imagine people just do the double takes? Yeah, we'd probably have somebody in the ditch every day. Because somebody would be like, paying attention? You're paying attention to your phone.
I just think that's
trying to look at the zebra in the ditch.
It's just too expensive an animal to have.
If
that thing died.
Oh yeah. First of all, I would never get a baby. I would never start with a colt or a foal or whatever. No. No way, because the risks are just too high.
Right, and we're just gonna get a single neutered boy, never have any babies or nothing, so that nothing dies.
Can you breed a horse and a zebra and end up with a I don't know what you'd end up with, but maybe, I don't know. No idea. William, hold on to all your fingers, man. Let's see. Jackalope, are they nasty? He's pretty tame.
He's cool.
He's cool.
I did see a jackalope when I was out haying.
Did you really?
Mm-hmm. He ran away from me.
Oh, well, of course they do. They don't like walk up to you. Very rare, unless you've got whiskey.
I didn't.
Then they'll come up and see you.
No.
If they go in the ditch, you can start your own towings. Zorse. There we go. Zorse.
Yeah, I don't think that's a thing.
I don't know. Canada's, I don't know. Somebody needs to Google that, or else I'm going to Google it when we get done.
What's the price of off-road fuel out there? $5.15 a gallon.
Yep. Oh.
That was last week.
Yeah. Zorses are an actual thing. I thought you just made that up. Makes sense. Okay. What's the latest on Bambi? She's just doing her thing, hanging out there with Inky, her calf, and number 19. And they've just been doing their thing. I'm reading.
His name is weird.
Why is his name
I
weird?
don't know. I just always forget about it. It just surprises me.
It surprises you.
We don't need a zebra.
We could start a zebra GoFundMe.
There is a lot of things that I'd rather spend $10,000
Yeah,
on
no doubt.
than a zebra.
Howard Silverman asked what happened to Matt.
Can you answer that question?
Matt, can you answer that question? What happened to you, please? As far as I know, nothing. I mean, I heard he stubbed his toe the other day.
Microgreen sales are going great if I remember to plant some. Should do that. No, they're good when I remember to plant them. Busy taking care of the outside things.
There's been a lot going on. I cannot believe we forgot to put out the bowl yesterday, or the day before.
And we've put them in up to the 7th.
Yeah, usually, actually, I've usually put them in right after the 4th of July.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I think we're okay. But
we're totally
I'll have to do
fine.
the math.
Yeah, off-road diesel last week, because we got it like Monday or Tuesday. It was $5.15 a gallon. And I was very surprised by that price. And they shouldn't be happy about that.
No, when you're like, hey, it was only $5.15.
Oh, wow, only $5.15. That's great. I was expecting like closer to $6. So, yeah, but no, it should be half that.
Yeah. What's Jeff drinking? Probably Mountain Dew would be my guess. I don't know where Jeff's at, so my guess would be Mountain Dew. All right, we got a few minutes left, just a couple minutes here, and we're going to actually cut off exactly at 8 o'clock because Erin's not feeling well.
I'm practically on my deathbed.
Yeah, we're going to get her
to bed.
Back to bed. Are you happy with LOL? Yeah, as far as I can tell, he's doing his job. He's very interested. He's with the heifers all the time. I've seen him up a couple times, so as far as I can tell, he's doing his thing. He looks happy. I'll give him that. So.
Oh, Melissa, tell your husband congratulations. That's great.
Oh, retirement. Awesome. 41 years at a power company.
That's
wow.
Crazy.
I don't know if he was a lineman or what, but very, very good.
We get fuel from co-op.
Yeah, most of the time. And kind of petering out here on questions,
we're just
guys.
done.
Do you want to be done?
How old is LOL? He's 15, 16 months.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Same age as the heifers.
Yeah, same age as the heifers. So, can't figure out how you Mountain Dew in your back pocket.
Well, he doesn't have a butt, so it just there's room.
Oh, that's funny.
Lori Rustin says, I do a lot of volunteering at a food pantry, and we've been busy with the food banks this last month. I'm assuming there's more to that question.
In your area, did it cut you off there,
Yeah,
Lori?
must have. I will say my weekend food bank program for Edible Prairie Project is my partners that we distribute with. We have increased bags for every single partner. So there is more need, unfortunately. Obviously, rising food prices are not helping low-income folks right now. Not helping any of us, right? Like, we're all feeling the grocery store problems right now and the fuel problems and stuff. So, yeah, those services that provide food and stuff, they're more needed right now, unfortunately.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. And then doing our part to try to help out in our local community.
Yeah, we're going to go pack weekend food banks on Tuesday.
On Tuesday?
Yeah, I signed
on Tuesday.
I signed Owl up for that.
Very cool. Ginger asked, do you know the sex of Greenies? Yes, we have a boy and a girl. So Mabel, Horace and Mabel and Maud, Horace and Manny.
I just don't know. I I just can't.
You just can't figure it out.
I just can't.
I mean, they do have personality, but you know, you just got to go sit with them for
I
a
just
while.
gotta spend. Yeah, like I mean, they're still young and like they're still just like you don't need to name everything right away.
Yeah.
So
Find out what you know. Kenzie, Grace, Lincoln, they're naming stuff like the second it hits the ground. Erin likes to get to know them a little
we
bit.
just got a new cat and it's already had 7 names. So
Exactly. All right, guys. With that, we are going to take off. I hope you guys enjoy your 4th of July holiday. Be safe. Have fun.
Thank you, guys.
Hopefully, Erin feels better very soon.
Yeah.
We're going to continue with haying. New video is due out on Tuesday after the holiday, where we get to answer some questions. I'm going to be out cruising around in the tractor, answering questions that have been posted by our Patreon supporters and those of you on the
Do you
community
want to tell
tab.
them what's going on the website?
Oh, there's a sale on the website. Yeah, if you didn't catch this, 10% off everything on the website right now, except for meat. We may have a Patreon only meat sale coming up at some point here in the near future. But right now, jerky, apparel, drinkware, all that stuff, including new water bottles, which I should have brought up. We got really cool new water bottles that are available on the website too. Everything on sale on the website is 10% off. Go check it out. Make sure you get your orders in because it's going fast. When do we get more beef jerky? It won't be until fall, right?
Yeah, we've got lots.
We've got lots of beef jerky, guys, so we're all set. Make sure that you get in there and get your stuff
We have
ordered.
beef sticks. We're out of jerky.
Right, exactly. So other than that, I think
And you'll
that's
talk
pretty
about
much
that
it.
sale on Tuesday because you forgot to talk about it last week. And if you were subscribed to the newsletter, you already know that there's a sale going on.
You do. And thank you all that have ordered up until this point. Thank you to those of you who are Patreon supporters. We really do appreciate it. You can support us on Patreon for as little as $1 per month, $10 per year if you pay in advance, and you get access to be able to order beef and pork on the website, as well as a bunch of behind-the-scenes footage, videos, all that kind of stuff. Access to us, if you're, video calls, all kinds of crazy stuff you can get in there. So Erin's going to get some sleep. Thank you, Brian, for hanging out with us. Thank you for getting started on the hay discussion in the beginning here. If you did miss the beginning of the live stream, it will repost. You can go back and check it out from the very beginning. So thank you guys very much, and we'll see you next time.